Hello guys, so today I'm going to show you how you can handle image upload and display them to the user in your Fyne applications. So we're going to create a very simple application, and then we're going to allow the user to select an image and then upload them into that particular application. And then after uploading, the user can be able to see maybe the metadata of that particular image. So with me, I have a very simple application. Just create a Fyne application, and of course I'm using the Fyne version 2.6.1, and then we have the application, the window. Of course, a very simple window. Then I'm just displaying a label, and then this is where I'm rendering and showing the application, of course, with the size of width of 600 and a height of 400. So I just run the application so that you can see how it looks like. So this is the application. You have the images. So what you're going to do here, we're going to create the file dialog. Of course, the one you have, you can click a file, then it has a list of drop downs, and then we're going to display the image here, and then below it we're going to display the metadata. So let us get started. So the first thing we need to do, we're going to define an empty image placeholder that can be filled after the image has been uploaded to image. So we can just call it img, and then of course you're going to show a canvas, a Fyne canvas. Then it's going to be new image from resource, and right now we're just going to say it's going to be nil because it's our uploader, and then we can just say image, can use the fill mode, and then there are different fill modes, of course, but for us I'm just going to use canvas image.fill contain. You can use any of these. For now you can just use image fill contain. Then we're also going to define a meta placeholder whereby we can refill it with our metadata. So canvas dot new text, going to supply the text, and then if there are no images have been uploaded, you can just say no image loaded. The image has been uploaded, and then for now the color we can say it's going to be nil. So once we have uploaded the image, you're going to replace this nil. Of course, they are empty canvas, and then the metadata, of course, you're also going to replace it to uploading our image. So you can get rid of this label for now. Then we can just call open button, because this is going to define a new button, or for now we're just going to use a menu because we can just add a button, but for now let us use a menu as we have said. So we're just going to say Fyne new menu item, and then we can say maybe an image. What's going to be a function. Okay, we can leave it like that for now, and then we can come down here, and then we want to refill our details, that is the details above. So we can display this, and then we can just come and say the menu. We can display the menu item, and then Fyne. Of course, this is our custom button. Fyne new menu. We can say Fyne new menu, and then we can call it just Fyne. Then we can add our custom. We can just say open button, and then we can set our new window, to the menu, and set content to the window. Okay, I just come and say the window dot set main menu, to menu, to the main menu, and then now when we are displaying the details, well, as you said, the image is going to be at the center, so we can use a container dot new border. These are layouts. Now when you're working with these layouts, let's say let it load, and then you're going to see the good thing is when you're working with Go, you can just always get these details. So for you to be able to use them effectively, you should be able to know. So as you can see here, when you hover over new border, you can see here the first one is top, so at the top, and then we have bottom, we have left, we have right, and then you have the remaining objects. So in our case, at the top we don't want anything, it's going to be nil. Then at the bottom we are going to have the meta details. Then at the that is top, then bottom. Then at the left is also going to be nil. Then at the right is also going to be nil. And then now we can display. So this is how our application is going to look like. So we can run it before we actually implement those details to confirm that everything is working as expected. Now, as you can see here, this is the meta details, the one we've defined here. So that once you upload, you're going to refill them on this using this open custom. Now, when you click on file, you should be able to see open image, but for now it's not going to work because we haven't provided any more details. So when you click on quit, it should be able to work because that's by default in Fyne. So now we're going to add our details now to our open button. Of course, now the first thing we have to do is to display the file open dialog. So you can just say fd go to dialog dot new file open. Now you can save this so that it loads the dialog. After loading, you can see here now when you click or hover over new file open, be able to see you need the callback, which is a function, of course, that has a reader. Okay, this reader is going to read our images from a given folder, or it can read data files from a given loader and the error. Okay, and then it's going to return a file dialog. So for now, as you can see, we need a function. It's going to give us a reader. Okay, for now we're not going to use this error. And just do that. Then we have, of course, as you can see, that defined the reader already, so we're going to be using that particular reader. So the first thing we have to ensure is that the reader is not null. It's not nil, I mean. So once we have said that it's not nil, whatever I'm missing. Now, of course, I need the window. Yeah, this is the parent window, as you can see here. Okay, I want you guys to totally understand how to use, because the moment you understand how to use this, it's going to really help you a lot. So you define the reader, and then it should also be the parent file. So it's throwing error, so we're just going to supply our window. Then the error has disappeared. So after confirming that the reader is not nil, then we're going to do this. We have to read the image. So I'm just going to say image goes to be canvas dot new image from reader. Okay, from reader, and we supply our reader. We have, as you can see, we need the reader and the name. So we have the reader, and then we have the reader dot URL URI is going to be dot name URI dot name. We have supplied the image, and then we're going to add the fill mode. The fill mode is going to be the canvas that fill contain, because that's what we also defined here. It's a fill contain thing, cleared and not used. Okay, This one we can just use it later on, but mostly just come and do this fd.show. That's how you get rid of that particular error. So after reading the images and getting the details and reading the image, now we need to get the metadata, that particular image. So we're going to get the file path. Okay, and we get the file path, of course, using the reader. From the reader.uri path, the file path. Okay, by getting the file path, we need the file info. Now to get the file info, of course, you're going to use the operating system to get the file from the file path. Yes, so the file info, we have to use what's an error? I'm just going to use OS operating OS module dot start. Then we're going to use the file path. OS dot start. And define the file path. Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be. And then we have to get the file info. So the file path, we get it from the reader. First, it's reading the image. Then we get the file info from the file path. Okay, and then after getting that, you need the image configurations. Image config. To get the image config, you need to use you need to decode the image, the reader, the reader. So to do that, you're going to use image dot decode. You need to decode config. Okay, the reader. Now the reason I've started with this is because I want to show you that how you can equate it from the other side. Of course, like this, to be able to know how many return values does this have. When you hover over this, you're going to get this image.config, there's a string, and there's an error. So here we need 3. We're just going to have a conf. Okay, and then we have the string, then we have the error. For now, I'm just only interested with the configurations, so that's why I'm just doing that. So after doing that, you have to close. You have to close the reader. Close the reader. And then now, after you remember here we're handling the image upload and then image decoding, and then we get the metadata. So now we have already dealt with the image. We have filled the image with the uploaded image. Okay, then now we have to get the metadata. So we're just going to say meta.text, and then we're going to equate it to, now we come to string formatting. Okay, you can format string in Golang using fmt.sprint, so that you can combine several images with string and formatting in short. File, and then we're going to have a string, of course, the file, and then the next thing we can have is maybe the size. Can have the size, and have the size of the image, and then we can have the dimensions of the image, dimensions of the image, plus length times width, length times width. Then now after we have, now this is what happens after formatting images. Now we have the first value, the second value, third value, and the fourth value. So now we need to get the values from the particular image. So first, the file path, the file name, we're going to get it from the reader. .uri .name. Okay, we've gotten the first file. And then now we need the file size. Just do this, and then now we need the file size. And then now file, of course, we're going to get the file size from the file info.size. Okay, and then the width and the height, we're going to get it from conf.width. Can start with width, and then we have conf.height. Okay, and then after applying those details, we're going to say meta.refresh so that it can refresh this, contain these particular details. Okay, so we can try our application and see works. Run it. Okay, see that. Okay, so I'm just going to click on file, open image, able to open image. I should come to the downloads, maybe click on this. This is one of the images that I have. It's a PNG image. It's not being displayed, but as you can see, the metadata is there, the file name, okay, the size, and the dimensions. Okay, now as you can see, we have an error here. References API requires a unique ID, so we can just solve this by coming here, say ID, and then maybe you can say com example dot maybe images. Okay, so I should be able to solve that issue. Okay, let's try uploading an image again. Downloads. Yeah, the error no longer appears. Now this image is not being displayed. What could be the problem? Let's see. File dialog, let's show. What am I missing here? Okay, I've not set the content. Okay, the layout. Let's add the layout of the image so that, as you can say, you can just come and say content is equal to container dot new border. And then, as I have said, for the new border, you have top. You don't want anything at the top. Then the bottom, we have the meta. And then on the left, it's nil. And then on the right, it's going to be nil. And finally, for the object, you can display. Then now you can come and say my window dot set content. I believe this should work. See here. So we define our content and then we do not display it. And come to the downloads. Then I can select this image and yeah, it's working. But the dimensions are not being shown. Why are the dimensions not working? See, conf.window. Conf.window. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, image just code config reader. Okay, another thing that you can do in your application, assuming that you want people to only upload maybe JPG, PNG, or any other image, you can just set a filter and just say fd set filter. Now when you're setting a filter, of course you need to access the storage of the file system, the new extension file filter. Then I'm going to supply my filters. Of course, they're going to be strings. Maybe we want to only see .jpg. see that if this works. I don't think I have any image jpg images on the download, but we can just try it. Open image, downloads. Yeah, as you can see, all the png images have disappeared. Okay, all the png images have disappeared. So you can add other filters here, like .png, .jpeg, and when you open this dialog is opened up, only jpg, png, and jpeg are going to be on the display. So basically that's how you can add these. You can handle images in your application, and see you in the next video. Thank you guys.